Hello, I'm gonna totally skip over the fact that I've been gone for 2 weeks. But yeah, this is gonna be my 100 sub special. So pretty much, it's gonna be what if Deku could control reality? And you're wondering, who is this person on the screen? That's pretty much what Deku's gonna look like. Yeah. Because I couldn't find any pictures describing of what he could do. But yeah, I shall describe his powers. So he can pretty much like control reality, some like a bird's flying near him, he can turn it to stone or something. He can make a stone pillar from the ground. He can like make an Eiffel Tower come up from the ground. I don't know, stuff like that. Someone shoots a bullet and turn it to bubbles. Make illusions, I guess. But yeah. So he's pretty much gonna have 3 powers. So he's gonna be broken, but then I'm not gonna make him broken. His second power, matter creation and destruction. You may think, what's that? It's pretty much Momo's Quirk, except better, I guess. Like, instead of just like, the stuff coming out of him, he creates the atoms, creates the molecules. So like, he's pretty much breaking laws of physics and stuff. And yes, like, he can create organic stuff, non-organic, you can create gases. You can pretty much create all the states of matter, water, pretty much anything. And his third power is going to be energy creation and destruction. So, you may think, okay, what's good about that? So pretty much he can build, like, create kinetic energy in his hand. That's pretty much just force. So, he builds a lot of it up in a hand or his object. He punches something, like a freaking nuclear bomb went off. Builds up heat energy and like all around him, stuff just starts melting. Creates, sound energy. He can pretty much just make a lot of sounds. You get the general idea of it. Yeah, so he's gonna, and you may be thinking like, okay, well, he sounds really broken right now, like he's pretty much a god. And like, what's his weakness? Well, he ain't gonna have no emotions. Well, not none, but like barely any. You may be thinking like, well, that doesn't really seem like a downside. You just think about it, like, he doesn't have any emotions, therefore, like, well, he doesn't have many emotions. Like, say a normal person has like 100% emotions, like 100% happiness, blah blah blah. He'll pretty much have 10%. Like, yeah. So yeah, he pretty much won't feel much. You may be thinking like, that really doesn't feel like a weakness. Like, he doesn't really, like, it means like he doesn't really build up like a love for anything or like hate. So he won't really have any aspirations. He still will become a hero, but like, there's a reason why, but he just won't really care about it. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, it'll probably explain better through the story, so I'm gonna start it. So, Deku's born. He ain't gonna come like, I don't know, space rift or anything. Nah, he just born. He's crying for like 5 seconds, then he just stops. He ain't asleep or anything, he's just not crying. It didn't like just stop, it kind of like gradually stopped. But yeah, so, the doctor's like, open his eyelids, like look in his eyes, and like he kind of has like lifeless eyes. Because I'm not sure if like this is just me, like this dude kind of looks like he has lifeless eyes. But yeah, anyway. So, the doctor's like, oh god, is he dead or something? So, they have to like bring him to like some testing rooms. They test like his blood pressure, his brainwave activity. It's all normal. They bring him back and say like, okay, ma'am, your son is perfectly healthy, but he seems to have some sort of mutation in his eyes. Like, she looks at his eyes and they see like pretty much like no color in them. Like, she says like, what's wrong with him? He says, nothing. He just seems to not have any life in his eyes, I guess. And she's like, oh, okay, well, It's probably just a mutation. Yeah. But yeah, so. But yes, like, pretty much he lives like, he's, I'm gonna do his time skip, he's 3 now. He says words, but like, he doesn't really say, like, much. Like, he hasn't even said, like, I love you to his mum yet. But yeah, that will be important later. And like, so she's kind of getting sad, like, what have I done wrong or something? Anything. But yeah. So yeah. I'm meant to say he's at preschool, He's just sitting there, like, he's 3, he's just sitting there, like, looking off into space. A kid runs up to, like, comes up to him and says, like, Izuku, is it? He says, yes. Would you like to come play with us? He says, okay. They just, just play a game. Like, the kid that asked him had, like, red hair. He's playing with the kid that has blonde hair, or ash blonde. So, the second one it's just pretty much Kirishima and Bakugo. Kirishima's pretty much going to be his best friend. Like, in the whole world. I'm sorry if you can hear any background noise, but that's only because I have my window open and my door closed, so I don't want to suffocate. But yeah. So, they kind of form a friendship, I guess. Like, Kirishima forms a friendship with him, but Deku doesn't really form a friendship with him. But, they just become friends, Kirishima hangs out with him all the time. Deku just kind of talks to him. But yeah. But now it's time for the Quirk awakening. So, they're just in class, just talking. Like, the teacher's doing something. Pretty much what they would learn in preschool. Like, apples are red, oranges are orange, or whatever. I don't know. ABCs. Deku's just staring off into space. And, like, the air, like, in front of him just starts cracking, and, kind of just, like, falls apart. And disintegrates, and, it's kind of like a void, like looking into space and whatever. That everyone's just freaking out, like, oh my god, what the hell, like, what the hell's happening? Asuka, get away from that. They think, like, something weird's happening, like a black hole just formed in the middle of nowhere. But yeah. So, Deku just, like, kind of, like, snaps out of it, and, just kind of just, like, reverses, like, the air, like, kind of, like, undisintegrates or whatever, and, just goes back in, goes back into the place, just uncracks, and, teacher's like, whoa, Izuku, was that your quirk? He says, huh? He looks, like, the cracks, like, still kind of, see me going back together. He says, I guess so. And you're like, whoa, like, that's a really cool quirk, Izuku. You can, like, create holes in space, I guess, the teachers say. The kid's like, whoa, cool, Izuku, that's so cool. But, like, he doesn't really care that much. He's just kind of sitting there like, wow, okay. And teachers inform, Miss Inko, Hisashi, because Hisashi gonna be there, because why not? Because I want him to. He's a good dad. My theories are he's either dead or he's all for one. Either one. But yeah. But no, he's just there. And like, yeah. Inko picks him up and says, Izuku, did you awaken your quirk? And he says, I guess so. He says, okay, why don't we go to the quirk doctor? And they go to the quirk doctor, and like, the doctor says, okay, ma'am, what's your boy's quirk? Inko says, come on, dear, like, honey, explain it to him. He says, when I was blanking out, I started staring off into, and then a void opened, and like the air started to crack, and then I looked into space. There's like a very childish explanation. The doctor's like, oh, okay, well, could you just try and do it again? Deku just like zones out while he's just explaining what he should be doing. The crack opens up again. Crack. Oh my god. Mental state of a 2-year-old. Anyway, sorry. But he like kind of just zones out again. The crack opens and like he just starts staring off, and the dog's like examining the crack. He's like, whoa, okay, he pokes a pencil at it and it just kind of goes through. Like this is an actual hole in space. And it looks like, okay, man, we're gonna have to take him back for testing. He snaps his fingers and like Azuku like kind of like goes back. He's like, huh? He kind of just starts going back. He says, okay, little boy, come back here. We're gonna have to test your quirk. Azuka just goes back with me. He's like, okay, bye, Mom. We'll just bye, Mom. Like I'm gonna say like an hour later, Inko's just in the waiting room, because I ain't gonna explain how they find out the other bits of his quirk, because I don't know. But yeah. So, like they say, okay, ma'am, this like, doctor's like kind of like has a shocked face, like he's like, oh god. Like he's writing, like he has a clipboard and says, okay, ma'am, your son seems to have 3 quirks, actually. And goes like, huh, what? She kind of like spits out a little bit of water she was drinking, like in one of those plastic cups. And it's like, what, 3 quirks? Like, what are they? He says, okay, first one seems to be reality manipulation, I guess. He can like, he just explains pretty much what I explained at the start. He says, matter creation and destruction. He seems to be able to create anything, like out of nothingness. Like, man, I'm not gonna lie to you, he's breaking the laws of physics. Like, we cannot describe how his quirk works, really. She says, okay, well, what's the third one? He says, well, energy control and manipulation, energy creation and destruction. She's like, I'm gonna say like Inko kind of like did some science. Well, they have to do science, so she kind of understands. She's like, wait, that's not possible either. She says, well, it just seems to be. With him, we did a few tests and we were just amazed, really. But yeah. So, Inko's like kind of getting happy and stuff, She comes back home with Azuki, and Sashi says, oh, what was his quirk, dear? She smiles and says, quirks. And so she's like, what do you mean? He says, well, little Azuki here has 3 quirks. Sashi spits out like some coffee. Well, not coffee, like tea or something. He's like, what? She says, yeah, she just explains what the doctor explained to her. And Sashi's like, wow, like, you'll be a very great hero. And Azuki just says, oh, okay. Yeah. So, like, I'm gonna skip till he's 6 or whatever. It's his birthday. You're having a little party, Kirishima's there. Some other classmates are there. Bakugo's there. Bakugo's kind of like, Bakugo's gonna be like neutral ground, I guess. Like, actually no, Bakugo's gonna be his rival. Like, it's kind of like a one-sided rivalry. Like, Bakugo always like trying to start the fight. Azuki's like, oh, okay. But yeah, so I'm gonna say the party, they just have like a cool little kids party, they do something. And like after the party, Inko says like, okay, honey, like I don't know what they call kid. I know they say like darling or whatever. I don't know. Like did you enjoy your party? He says yes. She's like, oh, that's very nice. And she starts walking away. He says, I love you, Mum. And she's like kind of like there's a 360 like pretty much like snaps the neck. He's just like, what'd you just say? She kind of has like a tear in her eye. He says, I love you, Mom. She's like crying, like, she runs up to Hisashi with Azuku in her hands, like, in her hands, like she's picking up Azuku and like run over to Hisashi, like, Hisashi dear, he finally said it. I I've been thinking about this for 2 weeks that I wasn't recording. But yeah, so, he's like, really? Really? Like, wow. He said, like, I love you, Dad. He's like, what? Like, he like starts crying as well. He's like, oh, he finally said it, yeah. But yeah, that's a little bit over. I just thought I might add that because why not? I'm gonna skip to last year of middle school. It still is a college. I'm just doing something. So like Kirshima's like, hey Azuku, like whatever he would call him, like Mito bro, because that's what everyone else says. He said, hey Mito bro, you wanna work on our quirks? You wanna work out with me? Not working on quirks. You wanna work out with me? He says, oh, should I? He says, yeah, it'll help us become a hero. He says, okay. And I'm gonna say Zuku's pretty much whole reason to become a hero is because like Kirishima said like he could become a good hero, and like his mum and dad said it as well. That's pretty much his whole reason for doing it. He doesn't really care. He hasn't built any attachment to becoming a hero. The only people he really cares about is like Kirishima, his mum, and his dad. But yeah, so they work out. They pretty much be like workout bros. But yeah, I'm just might explain that. So yeah, they pretty much just do that for like the rest of like their high school and stuff. So they pretty much do that for like 4 years. So Azuku kind of built like he kind of lean, I guess, like lean built. Obviously like whatever. He kind of muscular. Like not too much, and like Kirishima's like pretty buff as well. Bakugo's still like he didn't work out at all. He pretty much just like expected like him to be the best around. I'm a kind of bully Katsuki. The 18 and like Deku 6'1", Kirishima 6 foot. Because they work out like, so if you didn't know, working out like increases your height like after a while, like you're, I don't know, something. Yeah, Katsuki's like 5'11", so he's kind of not short, but he ain't tall compared to them. But yeah, so last day, the teacher comes and says like, okay everyone, these are for your future job applications. Everyone's like, he says, just kidding, I don't know you want to be heroes. Ooh, yeah. Everyone starts using their quirks. Like, he's kind of just, like, sitting there going, like, woo. Like, his arm, like, not even fully raised. It's, like, on a 90-degree angle, like, woo. Bako stands up and says, oh, like, don't let me in with these, these losers teach. Like, only me and Kirishima can get into UA, like, be any good heroes. And everyone starts kind of growling, Kirishima's like, hey, Bako, don't say that, like, that's things we think, don't say. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so, like, he's like, saying that, he says, sit down, Bakugo. And he says, okay, well, it looks like we have 3 people going to UA. And Bakugo's like, huh? He says, Azuki, Midoriya, Kirishima, Ijiro, I'm pretty sure that's his name. And Bakugo, Katsuki. And Bakugo's like, oh yeah, Azuki, damn it. But so like, like, Bakugo walks up and says, hey, like, nerd. Like, hey, Azuki, you're going to UA? He says, yes. He says, well, don't think you can beat me. Azuki says, oh, okay. Kirishima, like, Bakugo's gonna get infuriated, like, he's just agreeing with everything he says. Just answering everything, like, with, like 2 words. Bakugo just slams, like, hand on this. He says, like, you're so irritating. Like, I'm gonna kick your ass. And Azuki says, oh, I'm sorry if I'm annoying. This is pretty much making, like, Bakugo steam from the ears. Kirishima says, like, Azuki, just stop, just like, stop annoying Bakugo. She says, oh, okay. She's like, oh, okay. You know, damn. But so yeah, like back, bell rings, Zuko says, oh, okay, well, I gotta go now. And Kirishima says, hey, well, I see you at the gym. He says, oh, no, I gotta help my mom with something. He's like, oh, okay. So I guess I'll see you throughout the break. He says, yeah, sure. But yeah. So, he's walking, just walking. He sees, he's just walking, he sees, the sludge villain, come around the corner. He says, hey, you, I need your body. Oh, that body, I'm just kidding. Oh, God. He's like, hey, you, I need your body. It's like, why? He says, I didn't know the freak was in town. I need to get away. He's like, Zuko says, so you're attacking me? Oh, you're approaching me, are you? I'm just kidding. Sludge villain, kind of winds up, Deku just puts his hand out, and, the sludge villain just turns to birds. I'm say, I'm, say, 10 seconds after that, Zuko's just kind of walking under the bridge, All Might comes around the corner, I am, you? Huh? And All Might kind of says, hey, you kid, did you see where, sludge villain went? He says, oh, were you looking for him? He says, yes, did you see where he went? He says, yes. And All Might's like, where is he? He says, oh. He kind of just, puts his hand down, the birds kind of just fly back into one position. And, the sludge villain just appears back, the birds just kind of melt, and, the sludge villain's back. He's like, the sludge villain's it's something weird as hell just happened. He's like, what the hell? He's almost oh, okay then. He says, okay, thank you. And, he just punches, starts bottling up the sludge villain, because, why not? Deku pretty much a god. He's a god walking a bunch of normal people. Deku's just walking off, All Might didn't even get a chance to, ask for his name. And like I said, I really don't like giving my characters one for all, because I don't like making them broken that much. In this one, he is going to pretty much be a god, but, my other ones, I'm pretty much going to make it, a kind of fair balance, I guess. But yeah, anyway, so he just goes home. He didn't, help his mum with whatever he had to help his mum with. Because there was really nothing. 10 months of training. So, he pretty much just hangs out with Kirishima most of the time, sometimes with Bakugo, because he's just with Kirishima. They work out, I guess. He works on his quirk, he works on, what he can do. He learns that, he can solidify the air underneath his feet, pretty much allowing him to fly, pretty much. So, he pretty much, yeah, whatever, that. He learns how to, create more things, matter control, learns how to use his energy the creation and destruction, not manipulate. Yeah, I can't say that. Damn. He learns how to control his energy more, the matter creation, and, reality control more. So yeah, he's pretty much, super overpowered now, I guess. So, all that kind of stuff happens. So yeah, day of the entrance exam, I guess. He's walking in, not much is happening. He doesn't trip either. So he ain't meet Horaka. Sorry, Horaka. He's just walking in, he sit down, do the test. I would say he's pretty smart because, yeah, he doesn't spend much time doing much else, so, yeah. And I'm going to say the really early thing he even put, a little interest up is, sports. Nothing in particular, just sports. He made, a baseball game. He watches baseball, footy, soccer, I guess, hockey, cricket, I don't know, that's just the sports that I could think of. But yeah. So like, he does the test, he comes like first overall. Like out of everyone, I guess. Even recommendation kids. But yeah. So and is that the thing? The speak, like, President Mike's like, talk. President Mike's talking like, okay, this is what you gotta do, blah, 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 I'm saying Kirishima's talking to Deku. Well, not Deku, Zuku. He says, hey, Zuku, are you scared or like worried? He says, no. He says, oh yeah, why would you be? You're never scared of you're not scared, or you really don't care about anything, do you? He says, oh, I care about my parents, and you are my friend. Kiri's like, oh, okay, then. He's like, oh, thanks, Mito, bro. Or whatever, so they kind of just like having a casual conversation, like, Ida, like, being a freaking stickler for rules. He says, he stands up straight as back in the wall, because, he got a stick so far up his ass, it's reaching his freaking neck. But yeah, so, he sends him and says, like, oh, if, like, I'm very disappointed, like, you forgot to mention the 0 pointer, like, this is, if this is a mistake on your ways part, I'm very disappointed, because this is one of the top schools in Japan, and you two, boy with red hair, and you're beside him, stop talking, you're distracting everyone, Deku just says, but everyone's talking, even the people beside you are talking, why do you decide to pick on us? He's like, he says, I'm pretty sure I even heard you talking to someone at one point. He's like, kind of like, he kind of sits back down. Some people are laughing at Ida. Ida's like, ooh, I watched that. He's like, he's like, that stupid kid, that stupid idiot or something, I don't know. I say that a lot. So he's like, okay, whatever. So he's like going to the front gate. He's going to his gate and like, he's just standing there waiting. He starts walking to the front because he realizes he probably should get an advantage. He's just kind of walking in a general direction of Uraraka, and Ida's like, grabs him on the shoulder and says, hey, you shouldn't distract any other participants. That's a really dirty move. Because I'm going to take this from someone, I saw someone else do this. He's like, why would I distract her? There seem to be stronger opponents here, why wouldn't I distract them? He's like, he says, I'm just simply going up to the front anyway. He just moves Ida's hand off and, he just continues walking. So, he at the front waiting. As soon as the door opens, Deku just starts kind of like walking, upstairs that aren't even there. Everyone's like looking at him like, whoa, like, even like the examiner's like, what the hell, like, what's he doing? And then he just kind of starts running. Like once he's got enough height, he's pretty much like above most buildings. What his strategy is pretty much going to be like, he's going to like look up at something, he's going to create like a little steel ball in his hand, put energy into it and like, throw it, and it's pretty much going to be like a bullet. It's going to go through robots and stuff. So that's pretty much his plan. So he's running on like solid air. He's throwing the metal steel balls at the robots. It's hitting them, it's like, it's going through them. And like, so yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I forgot to explain something. So this is like what happens when like he destroys energy. Say like, someone tries to punch him, he destroys the energy that's like built up in their hand. They hit him and like nothing happens. It kind of just feels like a, yeah. But yeah. you know, the way he destroys matter is like, the stuff that he creates, he can pretty much like destroy it as well. It's not just his stuff, like he can destroy everything pretty much. He's pretty much like the only thing that he can pretty much destroy the whole world. And like he doesn't even realize it. But yeah. Anyway, sorry. Yes, you know, like sometimes she's just like destroying the actual like electrical energy in the robots. You know, just like short circuiting them or something, like giving them too much energy. Like yeah, you know, it's just like, excuse me, can you please give me the file on that boy? He seems very interesting. You know, so I just hand him a piece of paper, says, here. He says, okay, name is Midori, gender male, Quirk. Wow, this is very interesting. He says, what is it? He says, this boy seems to have 3 quirks. You know, everyone kind of like perks up, like, huh? And even almost like, what? Like, what? Yes, he seems to have he seems he can control reality. That's a bit odd, I guess, but I guess it works well. He can create and destroy matter. Breaking the laws of physics, I see. Or chemistry, I'm pretty sure. No, I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if it's breaking anything, but I'm not sure. Say if it is, I don't care. But you know. And like, so yeah. Oh, and he can create and destroy energy. Wow, that's a very interesting skill set. He seems to be putting it to great use. He says, well. But yeah, I thought I might just add that. But yeah. So, you know, Deku's walking around, you know, he thinks like, he's got like, so far, 70 points. You may be thinking this is not enough. Like, I don't care. But yeah, so, you know, he's just walking around and he's like, screaming and like, crashing of like rubble and stuff. Like, oh, like, it's this way, go that way. Like, oh, like, I'm pretty sure I saw someone get trapped. But, you know, so like, you know, he's looking over and she's like, the 0 point. He's like, oh, I should probably deal with that. You know, it doesn't really affect me. Why? You know, he's like, help me, help. And, you know, he looks down and sees, like, you know, Uraraka trapped under the rubble, being useless, like, not even using her quirk to lift up the rubble. Like, bruh, she dumb as fuck. But, yeah. So, you know, he just, like, you know, he's running over, you know, he's like, oh, I should probably help her. You know, he builds up, like, you know, I'm gonna say he creates, like, a big, like a bowling ball size metal ball. He builds up heat, he builds up kinetic, heat, and electrical energy in it, so, like, it's, like, red hot and, you know, sparking, and, like, you know, he throws it, it pretty much, like, breaks the sound barrier, I guess. I don't know, and like it goes straight through the robot's head, like, you know, leaving a clean shot. Like it, like a normal person looks like they cauterized the wound or something. You know, it's kind of like just falling backwards. He's like, oh yes, I think I should probably stop that. Cause less damage. You know, he puts his hand out. And, you know, he opens up like a rift in space, I guess, like a crack. Like he breaks space. You know, he just kind of falls back into nothingness. And you know. It was like it never existed. You know, the teacher's like, whoa. Like, for them, like, it's pretty much on the other side of the universe. Like 100 centuries later, like, they see, like, actually, it's like, used, like, Red 1 to Red 2, we seem to have, what, seems to be, 0 pointer from, like, millions of years ago. And, like, what? Says, yeah, we're not sure either. But yeah, anyway. But yeah, so, yeah. And like, so, you know, he destroys it, you know, he picks up Uraraka. He's just like, wow, he's so cute. And he, like, by the looks of his power, he can earn a lot of money. I shall make him mine. And if you're wondering, oh, hell no, she ain't the ship. Because, nah, bruh. I freaking hate Uraraka. And if you like her, that's your problem. But yeah, so, he takes her, she gets healed, day over, I guess. He's at home, Inko, Sashi's worrying, like, oh my god, did he get in, And, like, he gets a knock at the door. He says, you got a mail from UA. You got a letter from UA. He says, oh, thank you. He opens it up, his parents are watching. He says, young Izuku Midoriya, you passed the practical exam and written exam with flying colours. Even managing to come first in the written exam with both recommendations and normal ones, I guess. He says, well, with your practical exam, you also managed to score first, scoring a total of 70 villain points, with a total of 2... What's the other one called? But at the very end, you managed to score another 70 points by destroying the 0-pointer and helping the girl that you saved. You also caused minimal destruction. Congratulations. Please report to Class 1A. In the following week, please report to the UA grounds to set up your dormitory. Thank you. Just cuts out, You go into Sashi hugging him like, oh my god, Asuka, you did it. Woo, yeah. Whatever, I don't care. Yeah. But, So, a week later, he has to set up his dorms, everyone's there. They ain't know each other yet, so everyone's kind of like just setting it up. Deku's room is pretty much like the normal room, except like he has a few sports things. Like he has a baseball bat, like a metal one, like a little flag saying like go whatever sports teams and what they have. That's it. Kirishima says, hey, Midori, can I see your room? He says, oh yeah, sure. He just sees him like, he's like, wow, real plain. He says, oh, should there be more? He says, no, it's fine. It's just, I just kind of expected more. He says, oh, okay. Would you like me to see your room? Kirishima says, oh, yeah, sure. He's just walking. Some of the girls looking at him because, I don't know, I guess they look good. I don't know. He sees a room and says, wow, has a very, he doesn't know how to explain. He says, Kirishima says, manly. And he says, yeah, sure, it has a very manly vibe. Yeah. Kirishima says, really? That's what I was aiming for? Deku says, well, I think you achieved it. Very nice. And he says, okay, well, I think I gotta go home now. I'll see you next week. He says, yeah. Kirishima says, yeah. Just being full of energy. Yeah. So, yeah. Next week, they come into school. Deku's in his uniform, whatever the hell does that mean? Anyway. So, he walk into class. He's late again. Well, not really late. He's kind of there middle-ish, I guess. And he sits down beside Kirishima. He says, oh, hello, Kirishima. He says, hey, Midori. Can't wait to, do any hero training. He says, oh, yes, that would be fun, I guess. Kirishima says, you gotta start, enjoying more things in life. You gotta start, liking more things. Have you even had a girlfriend? He says, oh, no. He says, how? Pretty much every single girl in our school liked you. He says, oh, I didn't know that. Kirishima's like, bro, you're denser than the... I don't know what's dense. I don't know. Yeah, you're dense, so it's insert something real dense. And then that, he says, oh, it's like, oh, okay. And he's kind of, oh, God, really? But yeah. So, Oraka see him, he says, oh, hey, you saved me, he says, thank you. He says, oh, no problem. And he says, hey, can I have your phone number so we can talk? And Deku says, oh, okay. And, Kirishima's like, after she walks past, he's like, oh, looks, you got a girl's phone number. He's like, He says, never mind, you won't understand. And he kind of face one, but yeah. So, Aizawa, eventually comes through the door. He says, in the sleeping bag, it took you 8 seconds to shut up, you pathetic weaklings. I'm just kidding. It took you 8 seconds to shut up. Okay, everyone will be... I'd like everyone to come up and introduce themselves and explain why they'd like to become a hero. Everyone goes, and then eventually, it's Izuku saying, he says, my name's Izuku Midoriya, and my reason for being a hero, he just points at Kirishima, says, because he told me to, everyone just looks at Kirishima, he's like, yeah, he just sits back down, but yeah, so, he says, okay, now that's all done, now everyone put on these and go outside, we're going to be doing a quirk evaluation test, or I could be the little whiny bitch he is, so, I'm sorry. I watched What If Deku Was Cheated On, literally just yesterday, and they made it, the most horrible character in the whole world, and it just really made me hate her even more. I'm sorry. But yeah. So, she whining and, as, Izuku just goes up because, he has no reason to complain, he doesn't care about it. So he just grabs the thing and just starts walking out, She says, oh god, yeah, we should probably go out. And everyone kind of starts, a few people start following him. I know, Todoroki, Bakugo, Kirishima, Mina, I don't know, just a few people. There's only pretty much 10 people left in the class, I guess. And as I says, what are you guys still doing in here? Pretty much half the class is still out there. Half the class is out there and you're still sitting here. They're like, oh yeah, we're dumb. So, they get changed, they're just waiting out there. And, all the girls looking at Azuki because, he's sexy. Oh, God. Oh, I a little bit. So he's sexy. I'm just kidding. Looking at Kirishima wow, wow, you're so cool. You look so manly. Kira's yeah. So, but yeah. Aizawa says, okay, can Izuku Midoriya come up? He says, yes, sir. He says, you got first on the entrance exam. Please throw this ball. He says, okay. Deku just throws it. He gets 100 meters. Aizawa says, okay, I meant with your quirk. He says, oh, okay. I'm gonna do one of those really cool things, badass things, throws the ball up in the air, puts his hand behind his head and, pulls out a baseball bat, a metal baseball bat, and puts energy into it. And, pretty much just, hits it, it goes, it breaks the sound barrier. It goes into space. And, he says, how was that, sir? And, there was, a wind gust showing, Aizawa's hair is being blown back, his scarf. Everyone's kind of, on their heels a little bit. He says, how was that, sir? And Aizawa's yeah, that was very good, Izuku. He says, what did I get? He says, you got infinity. Infinity. He kind of shocked, he didn't expect that. He just holding a baseball bat beside him, it has a freaking dent in it. Oh, I guess isn't really useful anymore. It kind of just deconstructs. Momo says well, he has a similar quirk to me, I guess, but what's up with that insane strength, I guess. So he walks back, she walks up to him and says, hey, do you have a creation quirk? He says, yes, something like that. Yes, something like that. He says, oh, can you show me? He says, sure, what would you like me to create? She says, anything. He says, oh, okay. So he just creates like a little bird in his hand, you know. He kind of just like starts chirping and stuff. You know, it just flies away. You know, she says, like, you can create organic matter, organic stuff. He says, oh, yes. He says, well, yes, I can. And she's like, wow, that's like, wow, like, I can't do that. He says, oh, do you have a creation quirk too? He said, you know, she says, oh, yes, you know, he just creates like a little bow staff, like a metal bow staff. He says, like, yeah, mine's that, but mine just, I don't know, she just says something. But yeah, anyway, she, you know, everyone else just does their test, you know, they do all the other tests. For like jumping test, he pretty much like create energy in his feet, you know, and like stomp the ground, you know, he just goes flying upwards. You know, so I was kind of like worried, like, oh god, like what's gonna happen when he falls back down? You know, Azuku kind of just stays up there for like a minute, like, he ain't even like falling down, he just kind of standing up there. Everyone's looking like, what the hell? You know, then he kind of start walking down like steps. You know, so I was like, what the hell? Like, I saw him do this in the entrance exam. And he just walks out and says, okay, how far did I reach? And I was like, 1,000 feet. So he was like, oh, okay. And, you know, speed test. Kind of do the same thing, except you go on an angle, you know, kind of just blitz forward. You know, long jump does the same thing, except on just jumping, I guess. You know, side to side. He has to do this one normally. You know, grip strength, he has to do it normally, but like, you know, it's just his strength is just exceptionally high. Like, not as good as Kirishima's, but like, it's just exceptionally high. So he comes first overall. You know, maybe 1 second, because I'm pretty sure she came first anyway. You know, Todoroki second, like Kirishima in second, Todoroki in third, Baku fourth. Wait, fifth, yeah. Kakashi XE stopped working. Yeah. But yeah. So, you know, yeah, that's pretty much that day over. They go back to the dorms. You know, they do that room competition. So, you know, first is the Zugus. You know, they're all like running like, wow, what's the most, because they pretty much just like, assume he's the most powerful student, so, you know, they kind of like realize he's a little bit like kind of robotic, I guess. And I'm gonna say like they see him like hang out with Kirishima a lot, and they say like, hey, Kirishima, like, why is Zuku so weird? He says, oh, that's a part of his quirk. He says, well, it's kind of the downside to it. He has a very strong quirk, but like, he pretty much just doesn't have any emotions, though. Like, he even said, like, he explained himself, like he was a lot worse when he was a child, but now, like, the love, like someone he met someone, like, the friendship that it would take them, like, a day to build would take him a week or something. And, you know, they're like, oh, okay. So, you know, like, okay, I just thought I might add that to kind of explain a little bit. But, you know, so, like, they check around the rooms, you know, as it goes last, like, wow, what's the strongest kid doing, you know, like, what's the most like, what's the coolest looking kid doing, like, what's the cutest looking boy doing, I don't know. Kind of like what they did with Todoroki, you know, he just opens the door, he has like a metal baseball bat on his table, like a little sports banner, and, you know, it's like, go, whatever, like, he says, this is my room, and then he's looking around like, wow, it's really plain, he says. Oh, is it supposed to be different? You know, they say like, oh, no, it's fine. It's just, we expected a little bit more. He says, oh, okay. So, you know, he kind of just snaps his fingers and like a bunch of stuff appears, like, you know, like a few more ribbons and like a soccer ball, a footy, I don't know, like a few other things, like some food appears, and like, he's like, everyone's like, whoa, that's so cool. He says, oh, okay. You know, they pretty much just rate his number one because like, he just did like a last second improvement. you know, he pretty much just snaps his fingers, like everything just disappears again because he doesn't like it that much. He didn't like because it was kind of crowded, I guess. Actually, I'm gonna add one more thing as like a little basketball hoop. It's like a little basketball, you know, yeah. But yeah, so, you know, heroes vs villains, I guess. So, like a week later, you know, everyone's kind of friends. You know, Mamoru's kind of getting more intrigued about Azuku's powers. If you didn't realize, yeah, she hit a ship, I guess. So, you know, like lunchtime, I guess, you know, they just sitting at a table. You know, Kirishima's talking with him, you know, she sits beside him. You know, I'm gonna say Mina's sitting beside Kirishima. Yes, you know, yeah. So, you know, these kind of talking, you know. I mean, yes, you know, like, yeah, they kind of just becoming friends. But yeah, so, you know, heroes vs villains, I guess. You know, they're just waiting for Ozawa to come in. You know, hear thud, 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 thud. You know, all might come bursting through the ring, like, I am here. Coming in like a normal person. You know, Azuki says, but that isn't very normal. And like, All Might laugh says, haha, yes, I guess it isn't. He says, okay, everyone, calm down. Now, it's time. We're going to be doing our practical exam called the Heroes vs. Villains. We will be split up into teams of 2, where there'll be heroes and villains. The villains, well, you know, he pretty much just explains it. I don't know, I can't really be bothered explaining it. You know, like, everyone's in the costumes, like, I don't know, they, like, all compliment each other. And Azuku's just in, like, I don't know, like, a plain white shirt, and some, you know, some black jeans, I guess, with some shoes and some gloves. But yeah, you know, like, wow, Azuki, your costume's very plain. He says, it doesn't, I don't really see a point to having a fancy hero costume. Like, is there? They say, like, oh yeah, just to get fame up, or like something recognizable. He says, oh, I guess I should add a little something. You know, he kind of just think about it, you know, he had like a, I don't know, like a little like dog on his shirt. He says, is that better? It's like, yeah, sure. He says, oh, I really like this one. He just turns it back, you know, he, like, oh my god, this kid, like, this dude just, like, doesn't really care about anything, does he? But yeah, see, so yeah, the team's like, Sinai, Suzuki, and Uraraka, sorry, I got something stuck in my throat, you know, versus Bakugo and Ida. So, you know, like, Uraraka's kind of, like, going, like, hey, Azuki, like, what's the plan? He says, oh, I'm just gonna go up there and touch the bum, I guess. He's like, how? He says, oh, okay, I can do this if you really want me to. She says, oh, okay. You know, freeloading. Like, just not wanting to do anything. So, you know, All Might says start, and, you know, pretty much, Azuki just kind of, like, starts walking up, like, on nothing, like, you know, he's looking through the windows, and at the top floor he sees the bomb, like, Bakugo's not there, but Ida is, you know. He's like, oh, okay. Bakugo's probably down there. So, you know, he touches the window, and, like, it kind of just turns into water and just kind of falls down. You know, he walks up to it and touches it, that's it. I ain't gonna do any big fight theme because I don't really see no reason why. Like, I thought about something, but then that would kill Bakugo. Like, just change Bakugo's sweat to liquid nitrogen and just, like, freeze him. But no, I ain't gonna do that. Like, and Ida was still in his head, like, thinking about, like, oh yeah, a good villain speech to do anything. You know, he just touches it and, you know, always says, heroes win. New record. 10 seconds. You know, Bakugo's like, what? Azuki, you should have fighted me. He's like, oh. You know, he just walks back up. Everyone's like, oh, you did that really fast, Suzuki. Like, you didn't even get Oraka a chance to do anything. He says, oh, I asked her if she wanted me to do it. She said, sure. She said she was okay with it. You know, she's like, oh, okay. You know, everyone else just does their matches. Bucket kind of pissed because he didn't get to do anything. But, you know, like, you know, MVP, like, almost says, okay, who was the MVP of all? And, Memory clearly points out, like, there was, I think the MVP was Izuku because he handled the situation very calmly and causing minimal damage and not even provoking the villains. Well, it says, very good. Like, very good, very good, like, I don't know, idea, incorrect, whatever, you know, but yeah, so, you know, that's pretty much it for now. You know, they go back to dorms, nothing really much happens. But yeah, so that's pretty much part 1 for What If Deku Could Control Reality, and my 100 sub special, I guess. But yeah, see ya.